I would like to ask my co-moderator to come up on stage to help me facilitate the discussion that we will lead now, and I would pass on the word right away to you so that you can call upon some people who might be in the room. I will go to the other side.
Is Ara Shur in the audience? Okay. We were wondering if you've seen any other types of business models in terms of financing models, and if you could kind of briefly describe maybe one or two of them.
No, you need a microphone. You have a strong voice.
Yes, I'm loud. That's one good thing. My name is Ava Shore, and I'm here with my colleague Chris Seeley. We're here representing the Clinton Climate Initiative's Energy Efficiency Building Retrofit Program. We work with cities and private building owners around the world and also financial institutions to help develop and implement contracting and financial models to help implement large-scale projects. And I think what we've seen in our work and what we're hearing here is the theme that access to capital and these financial barriers are universal problems. They're not restricted to certain countries or certain building types. And it's also, not to pick on your co-moderator, but it's also a place where the private sector is not solving the problem and not leading the way. It's a place where the public sector is really coming up with the innovations. And I think you've got a good group here. We've seen other things in cities like revolving loan funds, like partial loan guarantees. So there are a series of very innovative ways that cities in the C40 and beyond are solving these problems. And I think sessions like this and looking at the C40 as a way to share those best practices is right now the best way to start to catalyze this market so the private sector can get with the program and step in.
Great. And is James here? James von Klemperer?
Yes, thank you. James von Klemperer. I'm an architect with KPF. We're in New York, but also have an office here in Hong Kong, Shanghai, and elsewhere. And my question to the panelists is, as architects working on large mixed-use projects, we are advocates of and have been practicing and preaching environmental virtues of adaptive reuse of buildings, as well as transit-oriented development, and of vertical density, of getting people, as Mayor Bloomberg noted this morning, densely packed enough in one place, one city, so as not to have to use so much public transport. And of course, this is best exhibited here in Hong Kong. So the question is, for any of you, are there financial incentives that are being planned or written or implemented in your cities that would make it perhaps advantageous to a developer to redo a building instead of throwing it away and building a new one, or perhaps increasing the density in zoning to allow more people to live or work right at the transport centers, and to essentially, this would apply perhaps more to the question to American cities or Southeast Asian cities of great sprawl, where density just is a challenge.
Who wants to answer that? Yes, yeah, go ahead, Kristen.
Have a go. And Melbourne has done a number of things to increase the density, both so taking the central business district about 10 years ago. I mentioned that we only had 15,000 people living in the city. Now we've got 90,000, and that was through a specific initiative done by the City Council. It happened at about that time we had the property market crash. There was about 20% vacancy rates in Melbourne, and we changed the planning to laws to encourage development in transforming what were office buildings into residential buildings. We did a demonstration project. We took ownership of a building, transformed it, and then now that's taken off to increase the residential population. So we've done a number of things through the planning system to encourage that. The other thing that we're doing now is we have a municipal strategic statement which focuses all our urban renewal areas throughout the city into mixed use. So we've actually zoned it to encourage mixed use throughout the city. So that's very much in the central business district to transform it to be a mixed use district.
Thank you. Kenji?
Yep. 日本語でちょっと喋らせていただきますけども。
Allow me to speak in Japanese.
今日はキャップ&トレードを中心に話させていただきましたけども、建築物に関するグリーンビルディングプログラムもいろいろなポリシーを持っています。
And I've mainly spoke about cap and trade system of Tokyo Metropolitan Government, but there are some systems and programs going on in terms of concentrating the population.
そのうちの一つとしてですね、建築物の環境配慮計画書制度というのがありまして、
And so one of the initiatives that we do as of Tokyo Metropolitan Government is called the Environmental Planning System.
その環境に配慮したですね、その計画を採用したビルディングにはその容積率でボーナスをつけるという制度がございますので、そのファイナンスのインセンティブではないんですけども、そういう容積率のインセンティブという制度があります。
And in this system, an incentive is given to the building owners in terms of not in a financial way, but in terms of the additional space in the building allowed to the building when they build the building, when the building is considered sufficiently environmentally friendly.
That's fantastic. I think many cities should do that. It's a very easy way in the planning. We have 5 minutes for questions. Noriko, you want to see whether there's
Sure.
somebody?
Are there any questions in the audience? We have maybe, okay, fine. One over there and then one here, and I think there was one back there as well.
Okay, we'll do that. Hi, Steve Hammer from JUICE. We do training and technical assistance programs for local governments in China. The cap and trade system is fascinating. It's obviously one of the only cap and trade systems in the world, but I think if we bring it back to how other local governments can take this on, a key question is what circumstances allowed Tokyo to do this? What type of powers do you have that allowed you to establish the system? Did you already have these legal capabilities, or is this something that your central government gave you as a result of a request? How did that work?
まず法的な、その権限ということですけれども、このキャップ&トレード、要するに、CO2 のエミッションにキャップをかけるということは、東京都が持っている、法的な権限でできることであります。
And as far as the legal authority is concerned, yes, Tokyo Metropolitan Government does have the legal authority to cap the CO2 emission.
それから、状況としてはですね、とても大きな問題になるその発電所とか、それから製鉄所といった、大量に CO2 を排出する事業所は、この、キャップ&トレードプログラムの対象になっていない。特にその全国的に電気力を供給する発電所というものは、東京都の制度の対象外になっていて、そこでそのプログラムの導入がしやすかったということはあります。
However, let me explain the circumstance a little bit. That large plants, for example, the power plants and also steel mills, which are one of the major generators of CO2, these are exempt, or these are not covered by the scope of cap and trade, which is imposed by Tokyo Metropolitan Government.
それと最後に産業構造がやはりサービス業中心に変わっていると。ですからその大きな工場というものが少なくなってきているところがございまして、それで理解を得やすかったのではないかというのがございます。
And so those utility suppliers such as power plants which covers, or the power companies which cover the entire nation was excluded from the scope which should be covered by the national government rather. And also what contributed to the success of introduction of this system was that the industrial structure of Tokyo has shifted from manufacturing-oriented to service-oriented. Therefore, there were less and less major factories in Tokyo. Therefore, it was easier for us to gain understanding of the commercial circle.